Thank you, Mr. Sabal and fellow panelists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am the odd man out in this panel for two reasons. One, my background, and second, also what I'm going to speak on. Hopefully, we'll be able to fit it into the context of the theme of this program and also what's spoken about in this session. My background, I'm an accountant, a chartered accountant, with more than 35 plus years experience in accounting, auditing, valuation. So as a result of which, often we're dealing with this subject of intangibles. Intellectual property is one such component of intangibles. There are other components of intangibles. And the second is, why am I talking on this topic, which seemingly is distinct from the rest? You've heard speakers speaking. They have talked benchmarking, they have talked of standards, and there was reference to values or valuation. At the end of the day, in the commercial world, if you are not able to reflect value, if you're not able to encash or unlock value, it's irrelevant. Just as much as we may have 5 or 6 persons on the dais here. All of them are knowledgeable. Let's assume for a moment they were writing an exam. It doesn't matter what knowledge they have. Ultimately, it is that result which is there in the report card which creates perceptions of their knowledge level, which creates perceptions of value. So you may talk about IP, you may have an enforceable right, you may have a great patent. If you can't reflect that, and if you can't encash it, it's irrelevant. And that's where accountants come in. Accountants don't create value, but accountants create perceptions of value. And those perceptions help you encash value. Often in the commercial world, transactions are happening. Prices are paid. That depends on value. If you look at some of the largest companies, including the Fortune 500 companies, or including India's largest company by market cap, which is today a technology company, what is reflected in the financial statements and the value which the market places is completely different. The market capitalization of that company is 9 times the value which is there in the financial statements. What does it mean? That means there is something more in that company which even we accountants are not able to record and bring into the books. And mind you, it's extremely important as to what's reflected in the financial statements. That matters a lot. And it is in that context I will take you through very quickly in these 10 minutes as to what is it and ultimately it's back to rules, procedures, methodologies. What is it that will permit you to record that value which we talk about? How do we determine that value? What challenges are there? And what are the rules broadly? What are the challenges or rules in relation to continuously reflecting that value? If you look at international sphere, anywhere, even national or international, whether you're dealing with brands, you're dealing with IP, you're dealing with customer lists, any of it, values are significantly mobile. The most premier brands of yesterday are not the brands of today. Take mobile phones. No longer is Nokia the largest brand in India. It is the Korean or the Apple brand, whichever it may be. But there is an erosion in value, and that also is reflected in accounting. So what are the quick principles? And this is important because any processes you do, if you can't bring it into the books, there is a challenge. It's not reflected. So essentially, we are talking of intangible assets, and let me try and focus more on intellectual property in a way. By definition, it is a non-monetary asset. And by definition, an asset means something which you control. If you don't control, it's not an asset. It's not of any value. It's, for instance, human resource, skilled workforce, very knowledgeable scientists. They're valuable, no doubt. But you can't control because they can leave you any day unless you have a contractual agreement, something which is binding. You can't reflect that value. Similarly, we have constant challenges in how to reflect value in the area of intangibles, be it computer software, patents, copyrights, any of these. Because the challenge for us is what can be counted often doesn't count. And what counts is very difficult to count actually. We're dealing with measuring the unmeasurables. And that's where these rules. So there are two critical rules. The first is it should be separable. You should be able to distinguish it from the organization and be capable of selling, licensing, using, renting, exchanging. Then yes, that is an asset. For instance, goodwill can't be separated from an organization, but a brand can be separated from an organization. The second is, even if it cannot be separated, you have a contractual right, like a mining license, which is related to that particular asset. You can't, and that there are conditions attached to it. You can't separate it, but you have a right that is still an asset. But there are two critical conditions, and I'll come to the challenges in that. The first critical condition is, unless you can get economic benefits from it, it's not how difficult it has been to create. It's not the effort which has gone into finally getting into that patent. It is the expected future economic benefits in terms of cash flows. If that is improbable or that is insignificant, the value is equally insignificant. And the second is, if you can't measure it, it doesn't come into the books. That's another single biggest challenge for us. So it's not about cost of a thing. We talked about patents. The cost of enforcing a right or protecting a right is an expense. And when expense hits the profit and loss account and the entity shows a loss, the entity's value also goes down. So there are rules in what you can reflect and how it is. And I'll tell you where the issue is. If you look at what cannot get into a cost of developing a product, which could be an intangible in terms of right, cost of introducing it cannot be added on to the value of the asset. Cost of conducting that business cannot. Any other administration general in that whole process of developing an intellectual property cannot get reflected as cost. Those are all expenses. They erode profits. It has to be only directly attributable costs in bringing it. Now let's come to valuation. Typically, it's when you're dealing with valuations, yes, if there is an identified market for an identified similar product or the same product, it's easy. If there are recent transactions for similar products, there is a value. But often it is not there. Then we move on to other methods of valuation, and there are broadly two methods of valuation. A market method, but more importantly is the income method. And the income method is the value of an asset is dependent on the income it generates, not the cost, as I said. And that income, there are multiple methods, there are broadly two methods there, is if you believe your patent is valuable, it should produce super profits, as opposed to some product which is not patented, which doesn't have a brand. If I believe, let's say, my